Everybody, this is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast and pro wrestling podcast we bring you each and every day. If you could head over to YouTube and smash that subscribe and bell notification button, we would really, really appreciate it. Oh, this is a match reaction, and I thought I'd go live because it's beyond a joke at this stage. It's depressing, it's sad, it's everything wrapped up into a ball of absolute rubbish. And it's just really, 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 really poor. That match tonight was just so jarring. And the strange thing about it is, as the caption says, the same dross, different day, really. Really, really, really frustrating to have to endure this at this stage at the moment. So poor. People online talking about that battle between getting rid of the manager and talking about how the manager can't account for Cody or for Kanate committing that penalty and stuff like that. But the manager has options. He doesn't have to pick Kanate, and he continually picks him. And I think it's gotten to a stage now where I get the feeling he's lost the dressing room. You see stuff coming out there from Fabrizio tonight from Mo Salah and stuff like that and all, like it's, just the disrespect that this manager at times has shown and stuff like that is just really, really poor. You hear him the other night. I mean, Chiesa, let's be honest, the other night against Sunderland basically saved this manager's job. You hear the manager being interviewed after the game, being asked about that situation, and he bigs up Alisson Becker, and he absolutely floors Chiesa. And I don't know what's going on. It's just a very weird climate, a very weird feeling around the club at the moment. And it's poor, and no disrespect to Leeds at all. Leeds were full value for the draw in that second half, no doubt about it. But we have to be so much better than that. We have to expect so much better than that. We've got Inter Milan coming up now during the week. God knows what's going to come out of that. God knows if we'll even have the same manager. But let us know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Let us know, can you see this manager drawing it back, or is it time to go? Can you see this manager turning it around? It doesn't seem to matter which players we switch out. It doesn't seem to matter which players we switch in. It doesn't, like, the tactics are absolutely bewildering. It's just so strange. I mean, twice taking the lead in this game and twice coughing it up. We literally cannot defend a set piece or a corner. And yet we probably have one of the tallest back lines in the country. It's just jarring at the moment to see just how bad these players are. And I don't even know where to begin with this match. And it was concerning, this match. Leeds obviously coming off the back of a fantastic result against Chelsea. And in the first half, we were good. We were playing well. Just no impetus, no decisiveness in that final third. To get it there, to get it done. Just a lot of balls in. You see Cody Gakpo just playing balls in, just hitting off Leeds players. Just not doing no real patterns of play and decisive movement in that final third. Plenty of build-up play and stuff like that, and plenty of chances created, but just nothing happening. And there's just a real dire, sour feeling around the place. You know what I mean? And I just don't see how this manager turns it around. You know what I mean? And it's sad to say it, because after what we did last season, but I just think it's really, like, how does he turn it around? What does he change? He's tried every combination of player. He's tried nearly every combination of formation, and then when he finds a formula that works, he rips it up and throws it in the bin. When he makes a substitution, he changes the whole dynamic of the team, let alone just a simple substitution, which just causes us to drift in and out of games. It's weird. Let me take your comments here. Keith's in, big up Keith. Sell Kanate, get rid of him. The chap's a liability, 100%. Absolutely embarrassment, that game. 100%. Big up Cuz. Yous will go and beat Inter. Watch. I don't think we will, unless they change the manager. Bournemouth only have 1 point out of their last 5 games. Crazy, yeah. Well, what do you mean by that, Acers? Iriola's not maybe the man to go for. Is that where you're coming from with that one? Brighton at Anfield on Saturday next week. Always a tough opponent for us as well. I've witnessed that firsthand. It's time to go with Slot. I'm sorry, but it's so hard to watch this team at the moment. It is. They're just. And look, you can tell. Look at the thumbnail there. Look at what Curtis Jones is enduring at the moment. Look at the pain that Curtis Jones is having to go through, and he's having to rock out and answer questions and all. And it's just so hard to put a finger on it. It's just weird. It's so far away from where we should be. So much talent in this team. The manager can't figure out what the best combination of an unbelievable amount of talent can be used in that front 4 or 5, whatever you want to call it. And you've got teams like I was even listening tonight on certain things talking about Leeds and stuff like that, and I said that's Leeds and now Sunderland. And no disrespect to Leeds at all, but I mean, we had a great opportunity tonight. Arsenal earlier dropping points. We had a great opportunity to put 25 points on the board to move up, I think, into 5th or 6th or whatever it is, and to have a foot in the door of that top 5 race. And we couldn't do it. And we couldn't do it on Wednesday either. And there's going to be backlash to this as well because we took the lead twice. We were 2-0 up. Two lovely goals right after half time to set us on our way. And then Kanate gives away that penalty. What a stupid fucking penalty to give away, like, you know. And then I hear people online going, "Oh, what can Slot do about that?" Keeps on picking him. Keeps on picking him. You know what I mean? The guy's head hasn't been at Liverpool since the start of the season. It's just a mess. The whole thing is just a mess. And now I think we're averaging something like 1.5 goals a game, which means shipping 1.5 goals a game, I should say, which means we have to score 2 goals or more to win a game. You know, you got Isaac coming on again tonight. He had that chance, but literally did nothing in the game. Endo, for all his endeavour, comes on. He runs around, puts himself about and stuff like that and all, but you look back at the bench there and you look at the players that are being overturned and stuff like that, and it's just, we have Fabrizio Romano here. Paul just sent me something on Fabrizio Romano here. I think it's something to do with Salah. Breaking. Fabrizio Romano just posted about Mo Salah. Mo Salah, I had a good relationship with the manager. All of a sudden, we don't have any relationship. I don't know why. It seems to me that someone doesn't want me in the club. That's Mo Salah, folks, talking there. And listen, we understand the kind of season Mo Salah's had, and we understand the changes, and we understand that his performances and his play at the moment are nowhere near good enough at the moment. But there's Fabrizio Romano there on X at the moment. Breaking. Mo Salah, I had a good relationship with the manager, and he did. If you look at the interviews last season, and if you look at the interviews during the summer, and you listen to Mo Salah talking about what changes, subtle changes they made to his game last season to make him perform so well, and the whole ship is abandoned now. The Titanic. Daniel, what's up, brother? Absolute shy show. Something major needs to change. Either bench Virgil, who has been utter dog this season, or bye Slot. You cannot bench Virgil. If you bench Virgil, you may kiss goodbye to our season, but you got to change something. Listen, there's only one thing that changes at this point, because we've changed players, we've changed formations, we've changed tactics, we've changed everything. We've thrown the sink at this season so far for this first 20 odd games or whatever it is, and it hasn't worked. So there's only one thing that needs to change, and that's unfortunately Arne Slot. Mo Salah just put his match reaction saying that he has been thrown under the bus and someone in the hierarchy wants him gone. Absolutely. See, a Charlton supporter died at the Valley before kickoff, so match was abandoned immediately. I didn't see that, but rest in peace. Very, very sad. Thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to anyone associated with that fan that's passed away. Very, very sad, and it's sad to see it at the moment. There's a lot of medical stuff seems to be happening at matches recently. You see medical teams being called into action a lot recently, a lot more than I ever remember. Yeah, very, very sad. Imagine a family member going to a match and passing away at it like that. Like that's terrible, really terrible. Kate, the disrespect Salah is shown after that game. He needs to show accountability for his own performance. Stop blaming everyone around you and look at yourself. That's a valid point as well. But I think the problem with Mo Salah is he playing with frustration at the moment, and we know with Mo, Mo's one of those guys that needs to smile and needs to be happy in his game and stuff like that. But I get it. It works both ways. It's very easy for Mo. Mo's coming out and he's saying that as well. Is that like the problem you have there now? Mo's going off to the AFCON, I think, on the 15th. So he's going to get out of town for about 3 or 4 weeks. So the only thing I can take into this is that either Mo knows something or something is being said internally in the club that manager is out of here. And that the likelihood when Mo Salah comes back, if he's not on the move to Saudi, been a lot of talk about that there's going to be a different manager in place. That's all I can assume. That's all I can assume. Got BFSG wants that Saudi Arabia money. But I mean, if they wanted it so bad, Aces, why didn't they take it when the big offer for 140 was on the table? It's weird. They know my man. Imagine this is how Mo Salah, one of the greatest in our history, will be pushed out. Yeah, it's bad, all right. I just think maybe Dino, I mean, I think Keith's somewhat right as well. You do have to take accountability for the way you're playing at the moment and your own performances. Now, is his ability to play and perform being negated by maybe the setup or the way the manager's playing or the way players are performing at the moment or whatever it is? I do not know. Or is he posting this? If you've seen what's on Fabrizio's X, is he posting this because he knows the manager's going out the door and there's going to be a new manager in January when he comes back? I do not know. How did this happen? It's sickening. I'm genuinely in shock at how we've fallen off a cliff. That's it. It's sad and it's shocking and it's depressing. It's beyond. We can't shout or scream or write any more WhatsApp messages or like we're looking at this. And as you said, Dino, me and you were talking back and forward on WhatsApp during this game. And it's like, this isn't a surprise. This is what we're used to. Same dross, different day. I wrote it on the thumbnail. Same dross, different day. And this is what's happening. And it's just so frustrating. I did say that there was major trouble behind the scenes. Seems now that Mo has pulled the stopper and it's about to hit the fan, I reckon. Yeah, he's pulled that trip card, hasn't he? The Salah SO, yeah. At this point, would you get rid of Salah? I think if we are getting rid of Salah, I think if the plan is for Salah to go out the door in January to Saudi or whatever it is, I think it has to be done in the right way. It can't be done under this cloud at the moment because he's basically one of our, if not our greatest, one of our greatest players, especially in the Premier League era anyway, that's for sure. So it has to be handled the right way. You know what I mean? At times we have too many players going out the door that don't leave this club the right way. The Salah situation is purely down to money. They must be shitting themselves at the prospect of no Champions League revenue. Yeah, it's clearly Hughes and Edwards that want him gone. I'm sure this will blow up now. It's definitely going to blow up now. There's no hiding behind this. And they're all very good points, Dano. Fair play. There is a huge concern there at the moment that if we don't make top 4 or top 5, that we could have major financial issues coming down the path between PSR and FFP if we don't have that Champions League revenue money coming in. And would Mo Salah being taken out of the equation and potentially getting in 100 million maybe from Saudi. I don't know what they would pay at this stage. And on top of that, maybe the 400 grand a week or whatever that he's costing us. Would that alleviate that? And is that what their concern is? I suppose the risk is, like, if Salah's going to go out the door, is there a way that they stay with Ernest Slot? If Salah goes out the door, are they going to use that money? If he generates 100 mil, say for argument's sake, I don't know what he would generate at this stage. I know two Saudi teams are still very interested in him, but would he generate the money to? Does that money then go to Edwards and Hughes then, and then you see them making moves for Gahey and Semenyo? Like the thing about it is at the moment, and it's a real difficult one as well, is although we might need to, and although it might seem like it's the right move, is it the right move to overlay more new players in here on top of what's here already in terms of trying to get players to fit in, trying to find a style of play, trying to get patterns of play, trying to get some consistency, trying to get clean sheets? Like we're fighting so many battles on the pitch at the moment. We're fighting on so many war fronts in terms of this team at the moment. And then if you drop a Gahey and a Semenyo in there, or a Wharton, or whoever we've been linked with and stuff like that and all, are we creating more dynamic of headache? I don't know. Certainly you would imagine the Gahey one wouldn't be one, because we definitely need a change in that centre back situation. I mean, Kanate is just off the scale at the moment, and Van Dijk ain't much better, to be honest. So I don't know. Do we need two central defenders? Maybe that's the question. Do we need two central defenders? Are we now seeing not only the incompetence of Kanate, but are we seeing are we beginning to see the decline in Virgil van Dijk? That's a question that has to be put out there as well. And I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it. I'm asking the question. Let me know your thoughts. Are we seeing now? If what we're seeing manifesting on the pitch now, is it a result of coaching and tactics and all that kind of stuff? Or are we just seeing players dropping off now? You look at McAllister at the moment, the season that he's had, and he's so far removed from the McAllister of last season and stuff. It's insane. I mean, the only one really, apart from like Ekatike, has done okay when he's come in and stuff like that, and he's been reasonable. But the only player that's really performed at any sort of an acceptable level this season on a consistent basis is Dominic Szoboszlai. I don't think there's any other player there you could say has performed. Gravenberch hasn't looked as good as he did last season. Cody Gakpo is a pale shadow of what he was. Isaac doesn't even look like he wants to play football. You're just looking at these different things. Now, Mo Salah has pulled the pin on that grenade tonight on X that's out there now, and that will have to be addressed by the club. I think you're going to see an emergency meeting of the club over the weekend, and I think you're going to see the club move in a decisive way, I would say, by Monday. I think something has to change here. Just this isn't right. And it's just, I don't see it changing. And I think when you see the likes of Mo Salah coming out and saying these things, that might be a general feeling around the dressing room, not just Mo Salah. I'm sure there's players there tonight. And I know I always say that players should be picked on merit, just not on, history, just not on reputation. They need to be picked based on merit as well. But I think at this stage, I don't know if you're sitting Mo Salah down like that, where I'd like to feel it's being done in a way that feels more like rotation. It doesn't feel like it is. It feels like it's being done in more of a cunty type of way. And I don't like that. I don't like that. We definitely need to get Mark Gahey this January. It's not as if not a defo. We won't get top four with Kanate and Van Dijk at the moment. Yeah, it's just the goals that we're leaking, the stupid decisions, and it's just Acers reckons a bit of both. Yeah, it is a bit of both. But a defo, yeah, absolutely, Keith. I don't see a way in which we come back from this. You know what I mean? I think the tough thing about this is these two boys have signed extensions for 2 years. Konate and Van Dijk. And the problem that you have there as well is if we're staring down the barrel of potentially binning off this year as a transitional year, and like I don't know how if Mo Salah's coming out and saying this, how do we stick with this coach? And at what point do some questions and some of this fever pitch get directed at Hughes and at Edwards as well? Because they surely have had a huge part to play in this as well. You know, I mean, you'd ask yourself as well. You know, at times, and I know it's difficult to ask it because like we were all so gassed, as Liverpool fans about how the summer went. And yeah, obviously our big concerns at the end of the summer was really that we didn't land Mark Gahey. But that can just happen, you know. But we were definitely, I think we were trying to build a jigsaw and we didn't take all the pieces out of the box, and that's the problem. And for one reason or another now, it doesn't seem to be, the pieces don't seem to be fitting together. These players are playing at the moment like they've never played together in their life. The telltale signs are there on the pitch. The breakdown of passing, you know, the reading of the game, the picking a player, the picking a pass. Everything just seems so laboured at the moment. Everything seems like it needs twice the amount of energy to do the simplest of things. And that tells me, because it's so rampant through the whole team, that this is a much bigger issue than being out of form. This is a much bigger issue than even a tactical thing. It's a much bigger issue than a formation thing. It's a much bigger issue than a rotational thing. This is a squad of players at the moment that are absolutely pissed off and fed up and sick to the back teeth. And it's like they're on the pitch now and they don't even know what to do. And that leadership, one, has to come from the captain on the pitch, and two, has to come certainly from the coach and the coaching staff. And it seems to be that there's a massive disconnect there at the moment. And that's only going to end in one way. And it's sad to say it because we won that Prem last year. And I know you can't just rest on your laurels. It's a new season. You know, Liverpool have to go again. They have to perform again. You know, the expectation is that you go again every season and you win more silverware. And you don't just rest on your laurels and stuff like that. But this is, when you look at that table and you think about where that table is at, I think we're on 23 points now. And I think Arsenal are on 33. So we're 10 behind Arsenal at the moment. And we literally have been disgraceful for 2 months. Disgraceful for 2 months. What's up, Ted? Acers, players are completely, utterly annoyed with Trent and Diaz and Darwin Núñez were allowed to leave. And the death of Jota has affected the whole club. Yeah, but there must be so much more than that as well. You know what I mean? There has to be more than that. You know what I mean? Big up, Ted. Did Konate get a lobotomy or something during the off-season? Seems to have forgotten how to play football. I have no idea, Ted. I literally have no idea. I'd say it's a combination of confidence. It's a combination of, I think he had a couple of niggling injuries at the start of the season as well. And also all this Real Madrid chatter. He's just void of everything. And now I believe the Real Madrid chatter is off the table. And now he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I say Liverpool might be giving him 2 fingers at the amount of money that he wanted. And now he finds himself in a real difficult position where he's not overly wanted by Liverpool and he's no longer wanted by Real Madrid. And I'm sure Konate now must be looking at his situation and going, what the fuck do I do now? You know what I mean? All bets are off, as they say. All bets are off. If Klopp was in charge, he would have a solution to this crisis we are under. Yeah, look, you can say that as well, Keith, but let's be honest here. I mean, Klopp had quite an interesting relationship with fans towards the end of his tenure as well. You know, and I mean, it's not like the last season was anything special either, you know what I mean? So, love Jurgen Klopp and love everything he did for the club. He was absolutely phenomenal. But as Darren often says on the podcast, he was the superstar at the club. The problem we have at the moment now is we have a bunch of players at the club at the moment, and instead of, you know, the huddling at the start of the game means absolutely nothing, because all these players are just going into business for themselves. And what happens is you just get a division in there between the players, and it's just sporadic and it's all over the place. And where every so often you'll rock up and you'll get a win, more often than not, you'll get caught and you'll get found out because no one really wants to put in that extra 10% that you need to be successful in Premier League games. And where you might get away with it on the European scene at times because it's a different kind of situation, you will not get away with that in the Premier League because the Premier League has concertinaed up. And a lot of teams now are playing at a very good level with very high level coaching. You just got to look at Palace. You just got to look at Sunderland. You just got to look at Bournemouth. You got to look at a lot of these teams. I know Bournemouth are on a bit of a poor run at the moment, but generally they've been very, very good. But you look at all the teams, and they're very, very difficult to win 3 points every week, or twice a week in this league at the moment. You have to rock up and you have to give 120% to get anywhere in it at the moment. It's really, really tough. Up Ted. Yeah, not surprised. Real Madrid aren't looking at him anymore. Would hardly make it on a Bray Wanderers at this stage with the level of play. Yeah, just the fundamental. And like, you know, you listen to it on social media at the moment and they're going, but like, what can Slot do about that? And like, you know, Slot brought on Joe Gomez tonight. Joe Gomez at this stage has to be starting alongside Virgil van Dijk in the centre. This cannot be allowed to continue. And he will not make those fun. Like, here's a manager at the moment, right, who couldn't even bring himself the other night to give Federico Chiesa a fucking goddamn compliment that he stopped us losing that game the other night. He binned it off in a roundabout way, put it all on fucking Alisson. You know what I mean? And then you look at it tonight. Here he is sitting Chiesa down, who, like, if you think about like goals and assists and minutes played, he's probably our best player in terms of return on investment, if you like. You know what I mean? And everyone knows I'm not the biggest Federico Chiesa fan and stuff like that and all. But it's undeniable at the moment. You know what I mean? And he's getting sat down. Salah's getting sat down. And Konate is playing. You've got McAllister coming on the pitch, who's been woeful this season. You've got Curtis Jones, who, for all his endeavour and everything he's trying to do, like Dominic Szoboszlai, is trying to do the job of 3 or 4 players. You know, you've got Cody Gakpo on that left-hand side, who just is clueless at the moment. And I'm a big fan of Cody Gakpo, but he's just all over the shop at the minute. It's just a real nasty, negative recipe at the moment that's in there. But like I says, we don't need to bring in a reserve player for Konate. You know what I mean? We have Joe Gomez is there. We could play Joe Gomez. You know what I mean? Okay, he mightn't be as robust and he picks up injuries but he might get you as far as January, so then you can make that change. You can, you know, we bought a central defender and he did an ACL. You know what I mean? And looked really, really good prior to doing that ACL, actually, we should say. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, when you have an option there to pick a player, when you know the player that you're putting on the pitch more often than not is going to let you down this season, and you keep on picking them and you keep on putting them out there, then fundamentally you're at fault. And people still keep on turning around and going, oh, that mistake he made tonight for that penalty, that's not on Slot. Well, it isn't Slot, because Slot's putting them on the fucking pitch. You know? And the chances are, if we don't give away that penalty, the chances are Leeds don't come back into this fucking game and we end up getting the 3 points. And that's what's frustrating about this whole situation. That we're fundamentally putting players out there that have made mistakes and let us down for a lot of this season. And then they're continuing to make those mistakes, which is continually coming along to cost us points and cost us games. Because once we cough up that penalty, then we fucking shit the bed and then Leeds come back into it. And we knew they would come back into it. It's at Ellen Road. Their crowd is there and stuff like that. And just a shout out to that crowd as well, those Leeds fans as well. You need to take a look at yourselves in the mirror tonight, talking about victims and all that kind of stuff and some of those chants that were going on. Absolute scumbags. Football, FA or whatever, the Premier League should be looking at that hate chanting and all. It's an absolute disgrace. Disgraceful. I think not getting Gahey really impacted you more than people thought. Now, we knew it was going to be huge. Virgil van Dijk is getting older and Konate had his head elsewhere. Somebody needed to come in that Virgil van Dijk didn't need to babysit. Yeah, no, look, we know we've said it 100 times, Ted. The amount of conversations me and Dino have had about this team, we could probably write a fucking diary of Adrian Mole on Liverpool this season at this stage. So poor. So poor. You know, to take the lead and get 2 quick-fire goals in that second half, and then to cough up that penalty, whatever about the second goal, and then to get ahead again with Szoboszlai with a lovely goal again. And like you would think then, like, you know, going into that corner to run the clock down with 9 minutes to go, and then we cough up an equaliser again. You know what I mean? And it's just so jarring. And I tell you, if there was another 5 or 10 minutes on that game, Leeds probably would have won it 4-3. I do agree, though, Niall. The fans cheering about disaster isn't on. I thought we'd stomp that out. I thought so as well. But, you know, a lot of good Leeds fans out there. Myself and Mark have done a lot of work with Leeds legends and stuff like that, with Browner and stuff like that and all, you know. Leeds United is a fantastic club, but those fans need to, like, you know what I mean? At what point do people need to be told to fucking grow up and their season tickets taken off them, you know? Really, really poor. Really, really poor. I don't think there's much more to add on this, you know what I mean? I said I'd jump on and do a live because, you know, there's no point in me sitting down in the morning and doing a match reaction and ruining my fucking breakfast, you know, my fun that I have with the dogs in the morning time and stuff like that, and all having a bit of crack with them and stuff. So, like I said, I'd jump on tonight and do a live because I'm here, but, you know, it's frustrating hell. Chewy, all right? Gone over to get into his bed there. But yeah, it's very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And a change needs to happen. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if we hear there's a change. The question is, what do they put in? Do they put in an interim manager that kind of steadies the ship but lets the season just take its course? And we ride off another year of Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk with a year to go? Or what do we do? Do we do more? Do we get more decisive, as Darren said? Do we go for an Oliver Glasner, get him out of Crystal Palace and potentially cement that opportunity to get Gahey as well, and get a manager in there that looks like he could put these players on the pitch with a plan, with a tactic, with a formation that looks familiar to them, that maybe they could play within and maybe get better results? There's still plenty to play for in this season, but the longer these weeks go on, the more difficult it's going to get. We've Inter Milan next, and then I think Brighton next weekend. There ain't going to be a whole lot in that for us if we rock up in the exact same manner with the exact same way. Mo Salah has shot a bow there. He shot an arrow across that bow. So if that's not acted on and not addressed in the right way, we've got a real problem. Because with that going out there, if you're going to hang around as the manager and they're not going to make the change, how can you even name Mo Salah in the squad for Wednesday? If that's the case, let me know your thoughts, folks. Get Poch in here. Jeez. We want to win trophies, Ted. We're in the mode of trying to win trophies. Can you imagine Poch? No, my guess is they go some sort of interim situation, which will disappoint me. You know, like what do we do? Do they announce on Monday that Stevie G is taking over as an interim manager? And then I have to get to the end of the season, and then I have to start losing the rag about, you know, one of my all-time favourite players. Do I have to start coming on here then, like what happened at Villa with him? Do I have to start coming on here and start dogging out fucking Steven Gerrard now? Is that what the club is going to put me through? Good Lord. We shall see. Listen, folks, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. It's Tuesday this week, I think, for the Monday mashup. Funny enough, will be on Tuesday. We'll come up with some dynamic for it. Marky's doing Christmas hours at the moment, so he can't make Monday. So we'll be on Tuesday for the Monday-Tuesday mashup, if you like. Wednesday, we'll have Pro Wrestling Weekly. We're on the road. It's the final week of John Cena's career. We have a watch-along for you on Saturday for Saturday night's main event. We will have Thursday Tier Talk, as always, on the Thursday. You'll see the sprinkling of shorts and all and everything going up throughout the week. You'll see all the boys' videos. Dave's video, his review of Dynamite, just went up there this evening. And also Bren and Emma's show, doing a review of SmackDown as well. So make sure you're giving them all the love and the support. Ted, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was in work today and I was thinking Tuesday trash up. No, yeah, absolutely. Spot on. Spot on. Spend the whole night on about Liverpool, couldn't we? Trash it was, trash. But there you go. So until next time, folks. Listen, have a great weekend, or have a better weekend. If you're a Liverpool fan, don't let it drag you right down into the dumps as much as it does. It's rough at the moment, but sunnier times maybe ahead. Let's see what happens. Until next time, folks. Chat to you.